I think that it's very fair to say that Paul and other early Christian writers were deeply influenced by the Gentile world. This is partly what I'm trying to examine. And that when Paul uses the language of mystery, for example, with reference to what God is doing in this community, he is echoing the language of mysteries that is used in Greco-Roman religion. It is, however, a distortion to say that when Paul spoke about baptism and referred to Christian ritual as a mystery, that he simply imported that understanding wholesale in from the Greco-Roman world. There is both similarity and distinction, otherwise Christianity would not be a new thing that made its way in the world and became the dominant imperial religion over the course of 4 centuries. But yes, everywhere in the New Testament and in Jewish literature, we find the same religious phenomena as we find in Greco-Roman religion. In Judaism, there are pilgrimages. There is a temple worship. There is prophecy. There is healing. In early Christianity, healing, prophecy, pilgrimage, and so forth. Part of the problem with the former conversation is that it identified Greco-Roman religion with only one thing, namely the mystery religions. And that then became the great nut to crack open. But if we put mystery religions together with prophecy and healing and pilgrimages and magic on a continuum of one way of being religious, that is, the way of immediate access to power, then what we find in the New Testament portrayals of Jesus, for example, as a healer, as healing people, when we see Paul and the Acts of the Apostles talk about signs and wonders that are done through the name of Jesus, we're very much in the ballpark of religiousness type A, the first kind of religious sensibility. In contrast, when Paul and James and the letter to the Hebrews say to their readers, well, that's a good start, now let's grow up. You know, you need to shape your character. You need to think with the mind of Christ. You need to learn how to advance. Now they're acting like Greco-Roman philosophers. Equally religious, but with a different kind of religiosity. So when the Gospels, notice, Jesus is entirely a God on earth. He suffers, but so do some of the other gods. But he is, above all, a benefactor, somebody who makes power accessible to others, calls the outcast, heals, draws people, right? Creates a people, open, public, access. Jesus is infinitely accessible in the Gospels. But there's very little about examine your conscience, think in a different way, and so forth. That's what we find in Paul and James and Hebrews. They are the first generation Christian philosophers. And those are the only two types we find at the beginning. Only in the 2nd and 3rd century do we see the other types developing.